biblically speaking, prefer one another above yourself. That was never meant to mean deny our basic needs, right? To deny ourselves our purpose. We also know the parable of the talents, right? Like there are things that happen as a result of you denying yourself. How do you find that balance? And how do you find you're still working through that?
I don't know. I think sometimes we think we're supposed to be Jesus. Jesus had to sacrifice his life, not me, right? Like Jesus already paid the price. I ain't got to pay the price for yours. I don't. So,
well, preacher.
All my children of the light, born in the sinning, but steady striving to do right. My people are homeless, all we know is to fight. Preach, they see God in everything I write.
Hey everybody, this is On One with Angela Rye. I am your host, and I am so excited because my girl that wrote another book, y'all. New York Times best-selling author, Luvvie Ajayi Jones. So you said it wasn't a tongue twister in the book, but when you add in that extra layer, that Jones, Luvvie, it actually is kind of tough. But Luvvie is a Nigerian-American writer, speaker, and self-proclaimed truth teller. Today, she meets the truth bringer to talk about this incredible art, this incredible book, All of the Truth, Professional Troublemaker. And Luvvie, thank you, my sister. I'm so glad that you're here with me.
Thank you for having me, Angela. You know, I can't say no to the queen.
Girl, I'm so glad that we're finally getting to do this. We've talked about it forever. Yes. And I'm glad that it's about a new book. I think before we were going to talk about writing a book and judging you and everything else. And now we have a whole new work to talk about. So I'm excited. So first I got to say, I got my box.
Your starter kit, your professional troublemaker starter kit.
My professional troublemaker starter kit. Now, you know, I'm already a troublemaker, so I wanted to go for the people that just had to get, you know, the book at the store and they didn't get the VIP box. And so first of all, y'all, let's start here. This is muy importante. Okay, Luvvie's got some tips for you, letting you know the Cliff Notes version. That does not mean don't read the book.
And Black owned. The whole box is curated by businesses that are Black women owned. The whole box.
I love that. This, and I know District of Clothing, this, oh, you guys can't see that. That says good trouble.
Good troublemaker.
Good troublemaker. Here, let me take this out so I do this right. Are you selling these, Luvvie? Can people buy these?
So this colorway, you can buy the shirt, but this colorway was only created custom for y'all VIPs. But you can buy this on District of Clothing. They have the white and black version.
Okay. Well, they said they want the black and red version.
I'm gonna talk to Giona and see if, you know, her and I can partner on this black and red version.
I love that. This is so Luvvie. Like, this is so you right here. But at least it's a smiley face this time. This is on brand. This is a little smiley face.
Look, it's still judging a little bit.
I love that. I know it's like, you know, you might be cool, but I'm thinking about it. Okay, right. Then we have, Organic Bath Company, Peaceful Lavender Organic Body Butter, because every professional troublemaker needs to be soothed.
Don't be out here ashy.
Right. And don't be ashy. This is Moroccan Rose. I love these.
That is one of my favorite body butters.
Okay. And then, I'm throwing this little, you know, this is the stuff. You do not want to have to recycle this. Look at that. That's every damn where, Luvvie. Look right. Talking about troublemaker. She just made trouble on my keyboard. Okay. This I love.
Lit Brooklyn.
And it smells so good. Does it say what the scent? It doesn't, but this is amazing. Luvvie, this is so good. Oh, and then, you know, Melissa, girl, I just bought 3 more of these. Melissa, I bought it from you. You know, I love you, girl. I still got to tell everybody about the Melissa.
They're amazing.
But this color, it looks good on every single shade of blackness. Okay.
Every. It's called Boss Lady,
y'all. Yeah. Buy that. Cop that. OBC Skin Enhanced Facial Oil. I'm always ashy in the face, so I'm definitely
not always ashy in the face.
Girl, always. Like my makeup artist would be like, "Did you put moisturizer on today?" I'd be like,
yeah. Let me help you out with that, Angela. Have you ever used a hyaluronic acid serum? If your face is dry, mine is. But you can't tell.
Your face is never dry.
No, this because I use good serums. You got to use a hyaluronic serum under your moisturizer. It's gonna make your makeup go on so much smoother.
Can you text me with the name of the one you use?
I'm gonna text you. I'm telling you, your makeup artist will be like, "Sis, you're doing something different."
They be like, did you go get that hydrofacial?
Yeah, so I'm gonna text you the exact one that I use. It's bomb. Like, you see my skin right now? I don't have on any foundation. I don't get on foundation.
Girl, you got the anointed glow right now. You look good. This box is everything, sis. And the fact that you are always supporting us is one of the reasons why I couldn't wait to get you on the pod. And I promise I didn't drop it. It just sounded really loud. It is nicely placed on the floor. But this book, like, we got to dive in because not only are you now giving me face care regimens, Luvvie is just like a life coach. And even if she doesn't have time to coach y'all up, this will be a great starter. Can we get into it, Luvvie?
Let's get into it. I love seeing all the tabs you got in there. I love it.
Homework. And I'm so ready for this. So the first place I really want to start with you. You guys know I normally would do a rapid round, but trust me, we're going to do some exercises that Luvvie doesn't even know she just signed up for because she gave me 53 minutes and I'm about to take every bit of it. I might have 49 now. That's my boundary. I'm taking up all your time. Now, if I run over, your responsibility is to tell me we over.
Correct. I will manage my own boundaries. Amen.
You can manage your own boundaries. Okay.
Amen.
So the first thing I want to talk about is your grandmother. Yeah. She is present throughout this entire book. And Luvvie, you know, there's something about a Black grandmother's love and how they are present with us even when they're not. I know you lost her in 2011. Yeah. But just wanting to hear from you, how present was she with you writing this book? Like the wisdom that you both observed from her, and then the wisdom that was spoken, as well as just like, was she sitting with you, sis, while you were writing this? Because it was like, let me tell you about a real G. And G in this instance does not mean grandmother. She was a gangster for real.
She was a gangster.
Right? Like, I'm like, I want to hear from that though, because there are people among us who have lost their grandparents. Yeah. And this is, I think, such a refreshing way to uplift her, to uplift her legacy. And you see how much she means and is really embedded in the woman you've become.
Yeah, my grandmother, Mama Following You, was a G for real, in that this woman would love you deeply and lambast you deeply also. You know, she didn't take no shit. But she was so kind. Like, my grandmother was somebody who people would knock on her door and they might say like, hey, just visiting. My grandmother, have you eaten? She'll make you come inside. She'll get you food, make you eat, put some in a Tupperware, and give you money and send you out in the world. My grandmother used to go to the market randomly and come back with somebody and be like, they're going to stay with us for 2 weeks. And you'd be like, how you just go and pick up somebody new? Because she would see somebody who looked young and be like, why are you here selling these things? Do you have parents? Are you okay? Do you go to school? And the person would tell her whole life story. And my grandma would be like, come stay with me. And we'd just be like, okay, so I guess we got a new play cousin. And it was just normal because for her, she didn't like to see people suffer. Her love of everybody was so real. So even beyond her own kids, to where some people forgot who her actual grandkids were and who the ones she just picked up along the way were. And, you know, she took up space without apologizing. She celebrated herself. She loved the Lord, of course, right? That's like Black grandma bingo. They got to love the Lord deeply and have a main line. And this woman prayed. She prayed for 3 hours every day, from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. every single day. Whew. Every day.
Man, that's like, I literally just had a church shut-in flashback. Like, that's how long we prayed on special occasions at church, for 3 hours in Koji church. So like, dang. But that is so powerful. And I just, like, I felt it. I was like, this woman has shaped her in so many ways. And I think that is a common experience throughout the diaspora of how much our grandparents mean to us and how much we cherish and honor the elders. So speaking of a grandmother's wisdom, you know, you spend a lot of time talking about fear in this book. And in particular, in the intro, you talk about how a certain amount of fear is healthy. And I want to understand from you how you distinguish fear versus wisdom, because some of what you described to me sounds like wisdom and somebody told you, like, don't do this because they did it, right? Like, they're trying to protect you. And it's more of a reverence instead of a fear. How do you distinguish between the two?
Fear is to keep you safe in the moments when you're in physical or psychological danger. right? So fear keeps you from putting your hand in fire, jumping out of a plane without a parachute. That fear is valid. Putting on a mask when you leave the house during the panorama, okay? That fear is valid. But that same thing is what keeps you from going for what you want to. Yeah. That same thing is the same thing that keeps you from speaking truth to power, because you don't know how people are going to respond. That same emotion will keep you from asking for a raise or a promotion because you're afraid of the no. And I'm just like, you have to know when the fear is useful and when it's actually stunting you. And for me, over the years, in the moments when I act like the same fear that keeps me from putting my hand in fire is also now one that tells me to say no to TED when they ask me to do this talk. I'm like, I lose. If I'm constantly moving with this fear of what the world is going to do or say about me, I'm not gonna do what I am purposed and brought here to do.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, well, we're gonna have to have this fear and wisdom debate another time too. But I do hear what you're saying. I think that part of it is, the reverence for what is gonna happen versus something that's binding you up. It's like it's a bondage restriction versus a, wisdom says.
It's like a cage, what I mean? Like, it's like a cage. When you create a box, now the world might put you in a box because, as Black people, as Black women, as anybody on the margins, absolutely. The world is throwing things to be afraid at our feet. We're placed in the box that says you belong in here. But I think there's a piece of us that also needs to understand that I don't belong in the box and I'm going to do what I can to get out of it. Yeah. So a lot of that fear will keep us in the box though, because it'll tell us that don't even try to get out of it because you won't make it. Right. But what happens when you say, all right, I know I'm in this box and I know I'm afraid of what's waiting for me outside the box, or if I even try to get out of it, but then saying, I'm going to at least try. I might not succeed in getting out the box, but at least I tried. So that's where the fear and the wisdom come in. Is like, I'm hoping I'm wise enough, or I choose the courage in those moments. Because even if I don't make it out that box, at least I know I tried. And I'm not going to beat myself up for being too afraid to even try.
Yeah. Yep. I get it. Okay. So now, Luvvie, that you are a truth teller and I'm a truth bringer. So I have a truth for you. So in this chapter on Know Yourself, you talk about Orikis. Is that the right way to say that?
That is.
Okay. Orikis. And you write your Oriki and you talk about how these are, I want you to describe what they are for the audience, but I also want to note that you say these are the things that gas you up. And in yours, I'm like, Luvvie didn't really gas herself up. So I'm like, my exercise for you today is I want you to redo yours.
Oh, you want me to redo? You didn't think mine was gassing myself up enough?
I don't.
Word.
I don't, because when you talk about, so I'm not going to tell you guys need to still buy this book, but I just have to read this one. For Michelle Obama, you say, first let's time out. Tell everybody what an Oriki is, and then I'll read Michelle Obama.
Bet. So an Oriki is, it's a tradition of Yoruba land. I'm a Yoruba girl in Nigeria. And it is something that ties you to who you are and whose you are. It ties you to your lineage. It reminds you of what about you is amazing. I call it a standing ovation for your spirit. And it's something that I think everybody should have. Yeah. And I think in the diaspora, there is the tradition of Oriki. We don't call it that though. Hip hop is full of that. You know what I mean? When you see diss records and people are telling them how dope they are, that's an Oriki. So I did introduce it in here. And I wrote certain people Orikis and I wrote my own and I asked people to write theirs.
Yep. So Michelle Obama's Oriki. Yeah. For Michelle Obama, Michelle LaVaughn of House Obama, first of her name, dame of dignity, melanin magnificence, chic Chicagoan, boss lady of brilliance, owner of the arms of your envy, forever first lady.
Word.
Now let's read yours. Luvvie of House Jones, first of her name, assassin of the alphabet. I love that. Bestseller of books, conqueror of copy, dame of diction, critic of culture, sorceress of side eyes, facts, eater of jollof rice, rocker of fierce shoes, queen of the Jones kingdom, taker of stages, Nigerian noble, and Chi-Town creator.
That's not what you reading it right now? I'm like, yep, that's me.
I mean, but I just have to say, in my defense, part of this is how I read this, right? Like,
got you.
Well, I'll say it this way, instead of you rewriting it, because after my reading of it, Luvvie, it is pretty good. But I would ask you, is there anything that you feel like you represent, or maybe since you wrote this in the book, that you would add to it now?
Ooh. That's good. I might put something about my cheekbones.
Ooh, come on, Luvvie. Yes.
I might have to put something about my cheekbones, have her of cheekbones that could cut glass. Okay.
Girl, I love it. I love it. That will pass. I'll give you that.
That will pass.
I like that. So I'm not gonna write my Oriki right now, but this is gonna be a challenge. I am gonna.
But I need you to write yours, Angela.
I
Bringer
will.
of truths. Okay. Protector of culture. All right.
My Oriki might become my new social media bio. Like I would, we should do, Luvvie. Can we have an Oriki challenge for the book? I think it's another way for people to know how important it is to go buy this. Like once you buy the book and you start reading, put your Oriki up as your social media bio.
So funny enough, today we're actually posting a video that's asking people to do this. Right?
Well, can I get a consultant fee, or did I miss the vote on that?
The video already gone, but yeah, like I'm actually gonna read one for you that a 7-year-old wrote for themselves. Hold on.
I want to see the baby. Where's the baby? Is that gonna be in the video?
I don't know if it's in the video, but I might post it. Their mom sent it to me. He put giver of best hugs. Man, when I tell you, I fell out. God. Like that's when babies write themselves, this thing is so grandiose.
And Luvvie is so sad because they're not even gonna be able to hug you because your boundaries.
Listen, I will hug the babies. Okay, I will hug the babies and people who I know. Okay, so I'll read it to you right now.
Okay.
So this baby is, let me see, 13. Oh, 6. Jordan is 6, and his Oriki is awesome son, cool Jordan, amazing kid, best Fortnite player, super nice boy, giver of the best hugs, heart of gold, nice to others and my mom, good at being myself, rainbow reader of books, awesome gamer, spectacular at bingo, great listener, and just golden rapper.
Oh, I love Jordan. Jordan, I love your Oriki. And I love that he's so aware of how he is received and wants to be perceived by others. I love that.
Yes.
Like this is what it is. Y'all just take that.
Take that.
Yeah, that's good. And you know what? I forgot. I have to put these on for this part of my question, Luvvie, because I don't know how I skipped over these. This was the reason why we were talking about unboxing. This is the other part of the unboxing. You all will note this is on brand. One thing that Luvvie knows how to do, y'all, is be on brand and sell a book. So I'm putting on my glasses because now, Luvvie, here's our next exercise. Y'all didn't know that you was about to get a master class too. I wasn't gonna have a master on and not have a class. So here we go. Let me put this on, make sure that fits under the wig. Oh wait, I gotta take this off.
You gotta take the sticker off. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't be looking all the way.
Protection.
This is like the dude that got saved and went to church for the first time and got his first suit and left that little tag on the sleeve. That's what that was.
On the sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hold on, I gotta fit that under the wig. Okay, there we go. Now, Luvvie, on page, what page is this? There's no page number on this, but it's 16 and 17. Okay. Your life's mission statement.
Yes.
We have to do this, Luvvie. We've got to do this.
We're gonna do this. I'm with
Yes. So the first question is, what's your name? And I want y'all to do this at home because I want y'all to see that she didn't just write a book. She's walking you through how to live your life better. Okay. So Luvvie doesn't say that she's a coach of lives, but that should also be in the Oriki, I believe. Yes. Because the first book and this book does that. So we're going to do this. I think we can do this. We can do this in like 3 minutes. Can't we?
Okay.
Let's try. Okay, so write my name. My name is Angela Rye. Luvvie, you have to do this too.
I already did mine, but continue.
Oh, you did? Okay, well then you're just gonna read your answers. Yep. Who are you proud to be related to? Ooh, my whole family. I have my mom and dad, my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, both of my grandmothers. was really, really close to Gramps, my grandfather, my dad's dad. And then I have a medicine woman in my family, on my mom's side, my great-great-grandmother. And I'm proud of that because I'm like, we are natural healers. So I want to do everything I do. I want to be healing. Even on my worst day, even on your worst day, what makes you amazing? Wait, hold on. Who are you proud to be related to besides your grandmother?
I am proud to be related to my mom, Luvvie Ajayi, and I call her out. So yeah.
Even on your worst day, what makes you amazing? I think I'm consistent, like unapologetically consistent.
Mine is that I can look in the mirror and be proud of the woman that I've become.
I love that. What or who do you hold dear? What do you cherish? My family, I hold dear. What do I cherish? Time spent with others. Like I love when my family comes over, especially during COVID. This has been really, really hard because I can't see them as much. Last time I saw my parents, Luvvie, was in October. So now I just got my first vaccination. They have been vaccinated twice. And my dad is like, is this going to work against some other strains? And I'm like, can y'all please come over here?
Can y'all just do this vaccination?
Exactly. What about you?
What I cherish is my life, lived happy, whole, and healthy.
I love it. What are your core values? What do they mean? Loyalty. I think it's self-explanatory. Explanatory. Truth.
Yep.
And love.
Yes. Mine is honesty, authenticity, and benevolence.
That's a good one. What brings you joy? Dancing, singing with the music up loud so I can't hear myself as well.
Yes.
And cooking.
So it brings me joy when I am able to make somebody else's life easier and also see my enemies upset.
Luvvie's like,
okay. All right.
What is worth fighting for, even if your arms are too short to box with God? My people.
Yes.
My people.
Yes.
Always.
I think I want to fight for people who feel like they are powerless or voiceless.
I love that, Luvvie. What do you want them to say when they're lowering you into the ground? Biblically, there's a scripture that says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Yeah. And I want my community to feel that way too. I want God to see that, my family to see that, and my community to see that so that it's consistent. Going back to that word.
And I want people to say the world was better because she was here.
Ooh, it is, Luvvie. And we're better because of these two books. We're better because of these two books. That was good. I love that. I hope that y'all do that and continue to revisit it. Luvvie has a website where you can download that worksheet and do so much more to continue to be a what? Professional
fear fighter. And a professional troublemaker.
And a fear fighter. Yes. Sorry, the people, the gardener that came through here and now they it's spraying leaves. I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully not. Okay, so now you have in here, I am secretary of Team Too Much.
Yes.
And I want to know from you, what's a recent too much moment that you've had? Whether somebody told you were being too much or you were like, okay, no, I know this isn't about you judging me. This is me judging myself. This was actually Team Extra too much right now.
When I knew I was Team Too Much, when I was in my team's business, I was being too nosy. Have y'all done this thing? And they're like, ma'am, we already handled it. You face your front and you be CEO and stop trying to be all up in our mix. And I was like, okay. I was being too invasive and not trusting, being too untrustworthy in that moment.
Wow.
And I had to check myself to be like, let them do what you're supposed to have them do.
When you talk about in the book being 9 and coming to America for the first time, was that your first too much moment, or is that the one that you wanted to share because you thought it would be most relatable to folks reading the book?
It wasn't my first too much moment because I was the kid who talked too much. who was told that she challenged authority too much. So the person that people see today is the 7-year-old me. My favorite thing to say was like, that's not fair. Like I always had to let people know when I felt cheated or if I felt somebody else was cheated. And I'd get in trouble for it. And I'd be like, okay, I'll take the punishment, but I'm still going to let you know how I feel about it. You know, so sometimes I got you talk too much. And I'm like, all right. Right. And I grew up to be a speaker who gets paid a lot to now use my mouth. A lot of us that were called too mouthy became writers, became hosts, became correspondents, became truth tellers. And I'm just like, we spend a lot of time being told that we're too something. And that too thing is our superpower, typically, is the thing that we're actually supposed to double down on, because that's usually a gift, right? Somebody who's considered too thoughtful or too quiet is probably an intuitive reader. It's probably somebody a therapist, like they would make amazing therapists. And I'm just like, they usually get beat out of us or abused out of us or insulted out of us. And then we grow up and we're trying to figure out what our purpose is. And we're like, what am I supposed to be doing? What was 7-year-old you doing? What was 7-year-old you? How is she moving through the world? And before the world abused that personhood out of her, who was she? That's probably who you're supposed to be.
That's so good, Luvvie. It's so good. So I hope y'all are thinking about that, and will continue to think about that while you read. Here is another good point. You talk about the audacity of unshackled white men being massive in the book. And those are complete facts. Like, you talk about the folks at Summit buying a mountain. And the thing that I thought about here was, you know, when you consider the privilege of dreaming big, which you also reference, what is the thing that you are dreaming big about right now that you haven't voiced? You know, that because as we know from reading this book, it's a fear fighter manual. And the reason for that is because it's something that we constantly have to do. You go to the next level, it's a new fear, you know, right?
New things.
So what is the big dream you have right now that you haven't voiced yet?
Ooh, let me think. The big dream. Honestly, I want to have a company. I want to have a production company where I am now a conduit to somebody else's amazing content getting out in the world. Because I want to actually give people the audacity to dream in the moments when they're like, oh, I want to do this. No, why don't we make it bigger? Why don't we make this even just ginormous all over the place? And I think about, and now the reason why I use Summit is because, Angela, if we went to a cabin and we had an amazing weekend, we might be like, I want to buy the mattress. These people went to a cabin and had an amazing weekend and said, I want to buy the mountain that the cabin was on. We've been told all we can dream of is the mattress. They thought to dream of the mountain. And I'm like, what? Just the idea that you could even think a mountain could be up for sale is so big that imagine, and then they did it. Then they bought the mountain. But we would be thinking about the mattress. Like, I want to have the audacity to dream of buying mountains.
Or girl, we might be like, well, where'd you get this throw from? I want to get
the
this
throw. I want the mug from the coffee that I drank. These fools was like,
that one we would ask for free though. We would get the mug for free. Like, let me hold that. You can get another one. Where you get this from? Okay, so this next part, you talk about being afraid to call yourself a writer.
Yeah.
And Luvvie, when I tell you, I was like looking at this book like, can this bitch see me? Like, let me tell you why. So Mark Lamont Hill, my dear friend, got me a shirt from Uncle Bobby. Shout out to Uncle Bobby's, that said writer on it. And it was his way of nudging me, as you also have nudged, to get this book done. And that shirt has sat, I'm sorry, Mark, but this is the truth. Confessions of a Fearful Writer. Has sat in my closet on a hanger, and I'm scared to even put the shirt on because I'm like, I'm not worthy. I've only written pieces. I haven't written the book. I can't put it on until I'm released someplace in the book. I am starting to write the book now, thankfully, but I still feel very afraid. And when people say writer to me, there are a lot of things that people call me, Luvvie, I'm fine. But this one in particular has some weight on it that I don't know. I don't know. Like, and even here you say like, Toni Morrison and Maya Angelou and Zora Neale Hurston. Speaking of Toni Morrison, this book I'm rereading now, Angela Davis's autobiography, who I'm named after. Do you know Toni Morrison was her editor of that book?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm like, when you say these are like writers, like I get that. Talk about how you overcame the fear, the conviction, the ability to call yourself a writer. There are people at home right now, Luvvie, that aren't just scared to write books. They're scared to write an article, scared to write that blog post, scared to write a longer Instagram caption. Talk about, right? Talk about how you overcame.
I'm so glad you said this to me, Angela. I didn't know I could have been in your text message this whole time. Like, ma'am.
That's why I didn't tell you, because the way that you got on me last time, child.
Now I'm gonna do it. But yes. So I was afraid of the title writer because it just felt too big for me to wear. It felt like I was wearing a coat that was too big for me, because those who came ahead and above me were like legends, icons. And I was like, how dare I call myself the same thing they are? But check this. You're supposed to call yourself that thing because you're already doing it, right? It would be different if you weren't doing the work. And being a writer is not just about writing books. It's not, you've written scripts, you've written pieces that might not be bound, but you're still a writer. You're using your words to touch people each and every day. You're using your words to transform the world. You are as much of a writer as Toni Morrison was, and even she would tell you that, right? And I think for us, even beyond the writer thing, there's people who are afraid to call themselves photographers, creative, CEO. There's so many titles that we will think is too big for us. But if you are doing the work, you are as much of a writer as some people who call themselves writers who ain't did nothing yet, right? You're more than a writer than they are because you've done the work. And I think for us, we need to stop being afraid of these titles for the work that we're already doing. Just think about it on a logical level. Do you use your words every single day to touch people? The answer is yes. If you went months without writing, you would feel weird, right? You'd be like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That is the mark of a writer. And sometimes the reason why it's hard for you to own the title is because you don't see it in the way it looks for you, right? You're like, nobody really is doing it like me. Well, in those moments, you're supposed to be that example for somebody else. You become the example that somebody then uses later that goes, well, I can be a writer because Angela's a writer too. And Luvvie's a writer. And, Mark is a writer. And I think that's powerful. So until you own that title, even if you still think it's too big, still call yourself that, wear that t-shirt tomorrow, because it's like the universe is waiting and God is waiting to unlock what's really for you when you honor that. Like your gift is using your words. And he's like, I'm just waiting for you to say yes so I can let you have everything I have. But until you say it, it might not come through. So that's probably why you're struggling through writing this book. There's a bit of self-sabotage in that, right? Where you know that your words are really gonna hit.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of failure, you're afraid of success, usually in those moments. Because you're like, I know this power that I'm holding back, and you're afraid of what the next level might look like. Mm-hmm. And I discovered this in therapy too, because I was doing it. Last year I was procrastinating on this book. And my late therapist was like, what are you afraid of? That you're doing this form of self-sabotage. And I was like, self-sabotage? And she was like, yes. But I was like, damn, she's right. Mm-hmm. So it's because these words that you're going to put on paper are going to be transformative. So then you're finding reasons to stay where you are, because the next level might be uncomfortable because you're not sure what comes with it. Yeah. So the words will sit on your shoulders though. They'll sit on your shoulders until you get them on paper. So get them on paper. This is and last thing on this, because I'm like, shoot, my time is going and I got 97 more questions. But here's the thing. You good? And so Tiffany come get us. But the thing that I also kind of fear is this is like the bearing of your soul in a completely different way. Yes. And when you are that raw, Luvvie, with raw comes tenderness. And so I've been walking around here since starting to write, super fragile, super tender. And then you imagine, you don't have to imagine, you put that out in the world and people got something to say about it, which is their job. But if it ain't what you want to hear for the perfectionists or those of us who are trying to get out of perfectionism, girl, that's hard. So the first thing that comes to mind is Erica saying, I'm an artist, so I'm sensitive about my shit, right? Yeah. I'm like, oh no, can I handle that? And the truth is probably not. Like, if you come at me, I'm gonna be like, Angela, you've handled way worse.
Girl, I don't care about them people. I'm talking about when it's like, us, and
that's what I'm saying. You've handled way worse.
Some of them don't count either. I'm talking about like us, like, the people I respect. The people I respect and look up to. Like, I want them to be proud and all of that. Anyway, we're going to have a separate session on that because I ain't about to take up all these people's time. That's
we
my
going to talk about it though. We're going to talk about it though.
I'm ready. I'm going to be ready for you. I'm going to listen more than I'm going to talk on that one.
All
right. This part right here, I relate to so much. This is an ask for more.
Yes.
Whoo, this is about to be another therapy moment. You say, I pride myself on being team. I get shit done no matter what. Luvvie, the struggle of a Black woman who may or may not be associated with being a mule of the world.
Come on.
That's all we know how to do. And so you also talk about like during a therapy session, like the work going through letting somebody help you. We are conditioned in a lot of ways, even from our upbringing. My dad told me once, if you want something done right, do it yourself. So, it's hard to shed that when you're like, well, my daddy told me that, so that ain't wrong. It's wrong as two left shoes. Talk about your journey of not stopping to get things done, but not doing everything.
Because you're going to break your back and you have to ask for help. Like we have been told some of our worth has been tied to how productive we can be, how much of a superwoman we can be. And I'm just unlearning it in the last couple of years where I'm like, my worth cannot be tied to my output. It can't. Like y'all can't think I'm valuable because I'm writing every single day or posting every single day. I can leave it for 2 weeks and still come back and still be as valuable. And just in general in the world, we need to be able to ask for help because we weren't meant to be empires of one. That's not how this is going to go. Our time is finite. When people say like Beyonce got 24 hours in a day, so do you. No, she don't. Beyonce wouldn't even tell you that she got 24 hours in a day. Yeah. She has like 4,000 because she has all these people helping her. And that doesn't make her less valuable. It actually makes her more valuable because she's now using her power to have other people honoring their own gifts. Right? So for us, I think about love and I think about how many of us are givers and we love being like generous. We're like, yes, I want to give. But then what happens when you don't allow other people to give to you in form of service? How do people show you love if you're not receiving their help, if you don't receive their compliments, their time, their money, their energy, and you're just like, no, I got it. I don't got it. I actually don't have it. Just, can you please help me? Because it will be better for you to do it. I can be good if I'm operating my zone of genius. Let me do that. Everything else, can you help me? You can? Oh my God, thank you. I appreciate that.
Girl, I'm working through that. In this next one on boundaries. This is draw your lines, but this is about boundaries. The cold thing, Luvvie, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but I think we vibe on so much else, so I would be surprised. But I'm really good at the boundary where it's like cutting somebody off. The one that's very punishing. My therapist, my holistic therapist, Yadi, says there's a difference between a loving boundary and a punishing one. Right? And those are it for me. It's easier to do the punishing one than the loving one because the love that I've seen exhibited and most of the love that I've lived is about sacrificing self, which is the very thing that you're getting at, even around, asking for more. I love when you talk about your boundaries hugging, which is the joke I made earlier about Lil Jordan, who you said you would hug.
Lil Jordan.
But girl,
my favorite hugs. My boundaries with hugs is just that people who I don't know. Like if I don't know your name, it's weird for me to hug you. But my friends, my peoples, right? Yes. But like random strangers walking up to me on the street and hugging me makes me uncomfortable.
Well, and I was relating to this, and even before I got to the part where you referenced COVID, the one thing I hate, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not trying to be insensitive about COVID at all. Like, I'm praying for all those who've lost loved ones. But yo, the one thing that I was like, I hate shaking people's hands. It's so nasty, especially when I'm eating. Don't try to shake my hand. And so I wanted to briefly go through an exercise where Luvvie, somebody who you don't know, wants to hug you. And they come in for the hug, Luvvie, and you say,
hey, I'm not a hugger, but nice to meet you.
It's beautiful. It's kind. It works.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, you know, I think we're afraid of like showing our boundaries because we're afraid it makes us seem mean.
Yeah.
If my boundaries offend you, you should probably reassess why it offends you, that I am drawing a line that makes me comfortable by my body, especially our bodies, right?
Yeah.
If we can't draw the line that says, I don't want somebody who I don't know having that much access to my body.
Yeah.
My God. I remember I asked it on Twitter. I said, what is a polite way to tell somebody that you don't want to hug? And everybody was replying with like, tell them you have a cold, hold something in your hands. So I was like, so you're ultimately saying that for me to have a right to express my boundaries, I actually have to lie. So I can't even be honest. That's weird. What are we saying as we are walking through this world where we're saying that you either have to self-sacrifice or you have to lie to honor yourself? That's weird.
Yeah. And it is literally our normal way of doing things. You talk about lying in this book as well. And reference a study from the University of Massachusetts, I think, where they say people lie in a conversation every 10 minutes.
Yep. Just by habit.
At least once in 10 minutes.
Just by habit, because it's just how we just operate. How you doing? Fine. That's a lie. Like, right? When you instantly answer, do you like my hair? Sure. Right? Like, and you will do it. And your friend will come with the messed up like haircut that they just got. And they'll ask you like, so what you think? And you be like, I love it, girl.
That's cute. Wear that every day.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you know what I mean? And they're small lies. It's not like each one is harmful, but I'm always like, each time you lie and I know you're lying or I have to call you out on it, it makes me honor your word less, right? We say your word is your bond, but if we're constantly lying, how is it our bond? So I'm always like, how can I lie less? Like, how can I take effort to say fewer things that I don't believe? So if people are asking me something, just trust, I'm going to tell you the truth because I don't want you to catch me in the lie later on. I don't want you to be like, I thought you said you like my hair, but this picture I posted on Instagram, my hair was wonky. Why didn't you tell me? I thought, because I want to be the person that people have to doubt less.
Yeah. And if you can't not lie, be quiet.
That part.
It's like, just be quiet. Just don't say nothing. Be like,
Don't say nothing.
You speaking of boundaries though, to go back for a second, in the Grow Wildly chapter, you say your change and your choices aren't about anyone else. They are about you. What is best for you might offend other people because once you start making choices that are truly yours, others might project their failure to do the same on you and resent you for it. That is not your fault, nor is it your business. Grow anyway, do what's hard anyway, change anyway.
Yeah.
I love this. And to me, this really spoke to me, Luvvie, because it's my biggest fear. Like, I hate to disappoint people. And then in the process, again, going back to how we're conditioned, particularly as Black women, we are trained almost to disappoint ourselves first. Biblically speaking, prefer one another above yourself. That was never meant to mean deny our basic needs, right? To deny ourselves our purpose. We also know the parable of the talents, right? Like, there are things that happen as a result of you denying yourself. How do you find that balance? And how do you find you're still working through that?
I don't know. I think sometimes we think we're supposed to be Jesus. Jesus had to sacrifice his life, not me, right? Like, Jesus already paid the price. I ain't got to pay the price for yours. I don't. So,
preacher.
Like, that's why I'm like, we have to figure out how we can honor ourselves first, because we have to answer to ourselves first. We're afraid of disappointing a lot of people, but people are fickle. Humans are fickle. So to bend ourselves to the will of human beings is to be in a constant futile mission, because you can bend yourself backwards and people will still think you didn't bend yourself enough, still think you didn't do enough. So then
because they're not doing their work.
All because, and a lot of that is people projecting their stuff on you, stuff that doesn't belong to you, right? So when we're changing, and a lot of us will know this, like many of us, as we're climbing the ladders in our careers, we've lost friends who have seen our success as projections of their failures. It ain't had nothing to do with me. So should I be less successful because you feel bad because you haven't done what you were supposed to do? I can't do that. I can't take that on. So when we're growing and changing and evolving and trying to be the people that we were brought here to be, I can't answer to you and myself. I can't. So I have to just honor me first. And then, of course, with the power that I'm building, you know, use it in service of others. But if I haven't built the power, I can't use it.
Yeah. Man. So speaking of denying oneself, you got a whole ass chapter called Fire Yourself. And I was like, Luvvie, this is just disrespectful. It's just
was I dragging you? I dragging you?
All in my business. And it's funny because I know I already talked about my dad earlier, but you say this part, I'm not good at everything. Let me tell you how my visceral response was like, what you mean? Just, no, I'm not. No, you know, like what? And so I was like, well, maybe in the spirit of this masterclass / book read / book review podcast, you could tell me 3 things you're not good at. And I'm going to give you my 3 too.
Bet. I am not good at operations. I can do it. It's my zone of competence, but it's not my zone of excellence. I'm not, it holds me up, right? I am not great at math. Ooh, I'm not. I just don't need to be counting that much. Okay.
Might count wrong.
I might count wrong. You don't want me to be the one. And I am not good at, what else am I not good at? I'm not good at video, like editing video.
Ooh, that's hard.
I'm not. So I need to not even touch it. Yeah.
Dang, you name those. And I'm like, I agree with all 3 of those for myself. You know what's been really hard for me, Luvvie? I am a communicator, right? Like part of my job in this world is commentating. So when I hear from my team that I didn't express something clearly, I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's actually my superpower. What do you like? Literally will cop an attitude. And what I'm finding is just like my father will call you and the conversation starts like this. Yeah. So anyway, not hello, not what you doing. Like he literally has had this whole first part of this conversation before he got to you, sis. Like it's like, and so the same thing is happening with me. What I will be doing in my mind is I will have mapped out a plan and I'll tell them at step 5. And my expectations were that they would intuitively know what happened in 1 through 4.
Steps 1 through 4.
Girl. And it's a problem because I'm like, oh, I literally have to unpack this because I'm going like this. And also I'll start it won't be so anyway, but I'll be like, yeah, so they said, and Naja will be like, who is they?
Who is they?
And I'm like, oh, right. And I'm like, damn, I'm really not that good. So that was a long way of talking about my communication challenges. I'm not good with new people.
That's good.
I'm not good with new people. It is, I don't feel super secure around new people. And it comes off as stuck up or standoffish because I don't feel comfortable. I'm part of it.
You're
just
slow to warm up.
Girl, very slow. It might not. It might be next time, right? Like it's like just a fear of rejection partially, and also like I'm trying to read you still. I can't feel where this energy is, right? So there's that. And then the last thing is I'm terrible at saying no. That again, why that boundaries, that draw the line chapter stuck out to me.
Same.
Luvvie, I will say yes and then be mad at your ass. I don't need to be mad at you. I need to be mad at myself. I'm resenting you for taking away time that I didn't have because you clearly needed my help. Nobody asked me to be the hero. I don't need to be the hero of that moment, of your mission. Like, I'm terrible.
Nobody asked me to be the hero. That's such a powerful reflection that so many of us need to write down. Nobody asked us to constantly be the hero, and it's wiping us out.
Girl. And mad. And then they're like, well, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm just tired. Right? It's like, So that's why the whole part with your therapist and what she was like, your husband did ask you for help though. And you were like,
and I'm over here like, red me. I feel you. That's exactly, oh, nobody asked me to be the hero. Girl, that's it. Even when I'm asking, like when I'm like asking my team questions about certain things, whether they've done it, they ain't asked me to come through and try to save the day.
Nobody did. We had 50 minutes since we started taping. I got 2 more questions. I have to ask these 2. I will table the rest of these. But y'all need to get this book. Like I'm telling you, it's so Luvvie. And let me say this before I go to my 2 questions. And I now sound like the Senate filibuster, but roll with me because this is a book promotion. What I love about your writing style, whether it's your blog, again, an Instagram comment, or this book, it is so like I can literally hear you, right? I can hear you saying this, and it's so practical. It is translatable, it is relatable, it is funny. You have your own lingo, sis, your whole own vernacular that people just got to catch up. You like, here's this asterisk, stick with it. Here it is in parentheses. No, it's coming up again. I just love it. And it's just like, okay, this is common sense. And you do it in a way that doesn't make people feel bad for not getting it yet. You know what I mean? It's like a very like straightforward, don't worry if you don't get it, let me walk you through it. Here are the questions you need to ask yourself. And now we got a new challenge at the next chapter. It's like level up, let's go. I love it.
I appreciate that. That really means a lot. That means a lot.
Girl, it's good. Okay, so there is this in Take No Shit, because you know that we're both pretty much known for this, but it comes with some stuff.
Shit.
Girl. So I want to know the balance in taking no shit versus being nice versus being rude AF, which is kind of what we're talking about. Like when I was just saying, this is what I'm not good at. Because I don't know how to navigate those. It's too much, being too much in one or the other, right? It's like, either I'm being like, I don't have to do that. Like taking no shit doesn't mean you have to be rude. And it doesn't mean that it has to be extra. Oh, well, let me just tell you, this is my balance. Like, where's the balance in that?
Just don't expect me to be nice. I'm freeing myself from the expectation of nice, because nice is a trap. It's wildly subjective, and people use it to weaponize your name. Because in that moment, they didn't find you chipper enough.
Yeah.
Kind is what you should be. Kind is what I aspire to be.
Yeah.
I might not be chipper, but I'm also going to be speaking up for you in a room.
Yeah.
I might not, and I think the real difference between nice and kind, and I think we put a lot of stock in nice, not enough in kind. Nice is being like, Angela, it's raining today. Okay, that's cool. Kind is, Angela, you want to use my umbrella? Right? You see the difference is I actually care about what happens to you. I'm not just randomly dropping this at your feet. I'm like, do you need an umbrella? Because I got one. You can use mine. That's kind. We need to be more kind. I don't need the nice where it's like, oh my God, how chipper was she when she met me? And people do that and weaponize it against women. Oh my God, I met Angela. She wasn't nice. What does that mean? Did she cuss you out? Did she cuss you out? I met Luvvie. She wasn't nice. How? Why? What does that actually mean? When somebody tells you that person was not nice, interrogate what that actually means. Is it because they weren't receiving the energy they assumed they would? The person wasn't performing for them when they met them? But kind, I know I'm kind. I might not be the nicest, but I am really kind. Like I care about the world. I care about other people. I will use my voice in service of those who might not be in the room. I will use my power in service of those who might not be in the room and who might not have the power. That for me lets me look at myself in the mirror. Not that I said hi to somebody, a high-pitched voice.
Hi.
Hey, oh my God. Hey. So good to meet you.
Well, here's one thing, and it's not part of my second question, so this does not count against me, but I am wondering in these Nigerian friend text groups, if those are all kind, because the drag you talk about.
We drag each other so bad. Like,
oh my God. I'm working on using my words to heal. And I was like, oh, I got some new bars I might need to use before I can transition to words with that heal. Queen of bars. Get me.
Bars. Nigerians are savages. Okay. We just be cutting each other apart. But it's like a game. It's our dirty dozens. Okay.
Well, in my defense, I do have, I think it's like 37% Nigerian in my bloodline. So maybe it just counts.
And sometimes a good cut down is valid. Sometimes people come at you crazy and they gotta have it. Sometimes on certain days I will make time.
All the time. Be like, I actually have more than 24 hours today.
Today.
So you have this book is sectioned off. I promise, Tiffany, if you're listening, this is my last question for my dear sis, Luvvie. But you have in this book, it's broken up into 3 sections: be, say, and do, which I believe is, the mathematical equation for those of us who are not great at adding, to really be in integrity, right? And so I'm curious to know from your vantage point, what are the percentages of each of those for people to find like that sweet spot, the gift of really moving in and on purpose? What are the percentage of be, the percentage of say, and the percentage of do?
I think it is more in order. It's a sequence. First, you have to be and think in the right way, right? All the things that's happening, all the fears and all the anxieties and all the doubts and the box that they put you in. How do you talk to yourself to get you out of that box, right? How do you know that you don't belong in it, that all the things that people are saying about you that's not true is not real? You got to work on the mindset. And honestly, I'll put Post-it notes around my desk any day, and where I'm like, I am enough. I always win. I have exactly what I need. Whatever the affirmation is.
That what's up there right now? Is that what you have
right now? None of my Post-its are up because I just redid my office.
Oh,
so I ain't put them back up yet. And then once you be, then you have to start using words and making sure that your words represent your integrity or represent service or just honor you in some way. And I quote, the late great John Lewis in this book about how we should be ready to make necessary good trouble.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, once you're ready to make that necessary good trouble, now you got to do, right? You got to put action to these words and to this new mindset you got, because without the action, what's the words? It just sounds good. Yeah. So it's a sequence. Everything that we do, we start with the be, and then we start putting the words, and then we put the feet to it. And that's why I put it in that order.
I love that, Luvvie. You are such a gem and a gift to the culture, to the world. If you all know what's good for you and what's good for my sister, let me not even lie. Get this book, game changer. And Luvvie, it's a classic. This should be it's not just self-help. I really feel like this should be taught in business schools all around the country, right? For psychology students should be looking at this. Y'all need to put this on your required reading list for your classes, especially in COVID, right? How can you balance a pandemic with being, or as Luvvie says, a panorama with being a professional troublemaker? And be fearless. Go ahead and put them on. Go ahead.
In fact, let me take a screenshot so people can see us. We cute. Yes, come on. It's a look.
I feel like I look like her right now. I don't think I could sing like her though.
That's hilarious. Is that your celebrity lookalike?
No, girl, it just was with the glasses. My celebrity lookalike without a wig on is with just my curly hair is probably Whitley Gilbert when she was still on A Different World. I got called Whitley growing up all the time. Oh, and Aaliyah, I got some pictures where I looked like Aaliyah when I was younger too. I can show you though. I would have a heart, and I would know all the moves because I thought I could. Anyway, let me let you go so Tiffany don't cut me off or cut me out or cut me off.
You are amazing, and I am so deeply affirmed by your presence. Right, having a fellow troublemaker to look to and be like, yo, I can keep talking because Angela gonna be talking. It is so important. You serve as an affirmation of my presence. You really do. And I know the things that you do is not easy as this truth bringer. I think people throw stuff at your feet every day, but just so you know, I'm cheering for you always. If you ever need backup, I got you.
I know that's right.
I so appreciate your sisterhood. You're just everything. And I'm so glad I could be on this podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for doing this, for workshopping with me. Y'all got a masterclass, a book review, some shade, some jokes, some teachable moments, some stuff to put on Post-it notes, you name it. Y'all go do this Oriki challenge. I can't wait to do that. I'm excited about that. So by the time the podcast is up, we'll be ready. And you'll see it in my social media bios. I can't wait.
Let's go. When you finish it, send it to me. I need to know. And if people do the Oriki challenge, use the hashtag Oriki challenge and feel free to tag me because I've already started seeing people doing it.
I love it. Well, let's do it, y'all. And now this book goes, bam, right there. Love you, sis. Congratulations. I know this is another bestseller and keep crushing it.